Hello!
Hey.
2022, yeah.
Yeah, creating in 2022.
Before our channel.
Okay, gonna say this first. We are not going to say how many episodes we wrote this year or exactly the deep dive into heavy content of the episodes because we want to keep you surprised.
Yep.
And I'm trying to think if there's anything else. No, that's actually pretty much it. That's what I want to make clear for this video.
I'll say this is funny. So today is May 14th. I just want to bring it up. We're probably going to talk about segments, which is essentially outlines. Or outlining a screenplay. And completely unaware. I only looked it up when we started making these videos. I'm like, segments. I wonder if other writers came up with something like this. Turns out I was outlining. So it's very cool. But we're going to stick with the term segments because that's the B&G way.
Yes.
And I do like it because, for a time I thought we invented something. So it just feels kind of nice. So,
all right, we're in 2022 now. When we talk about 2022, our time creating there. Let me see here.
I remember how we concluded that it was just like a great time that we had written those 2 episodes.
Yes, in 2021, yeah.
2021. And now in 2022, we were back in full swing, all right?
We were writing machines. We wrote and wrote, episode.
We were killing it. And some of those episodes were, one in particular, had a ridiculous battle that was just, Brandon hated how I wanted it structured.
We did it that way. The way Garrett wanted the battle structured, we wrote it that way, and yes, it turned out well. It turned out brilliantly, and I never want to do it like that again. Ever.
And we haven't. We're never writing another action scene like that ever again. But we made it through it, and I'm very happy it exists.
And it worked.
Now, I am going to admit this. I don't think it adds as much as my ego would like to think it did. In truth, it didn't have to be that way. I don't believe that structure added anything other than it's just one of those things that you can say, okay, we did it that way. And in the long run and just even the short term, I highly recommend not to write for those reasons. I had my insecurities back then, and I wanted to make action scenes not seem just like
Typical,
poorly put together, where the editing and the splicing doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you're talking the action scenes in linear chronological order. It's just sometimes the positioning of the bad guys and the goons versus the heroes doesn't make any sense, but you go along with it. In truth,
because it's cool,
and it's fun seeing a bunch of people get killed. And I've never had a problem with that in action shows or anything, even down to the craziest Arnold or Schwarzenegger or Steven Seagal movies. They never bothered me. But when I'm doing them, I don't know, I kind of felt very self-conscious about doing that, and not in a good way. And the action scene structure for that particular episode demonstrates that insecurity by overcoming it and way overcompensating. And it was just unnecessary. But it did turn out well. I'm happy it turned out well, and I'm happy even more that we're never doing that again.
It turned out extremely well. And I'll be quite honest, the way we did that action scene, Garrett and I, it's that how much emphasis Garrett wanted to put in the craft of the action scene, because there was just like, let's say an average action scene. Let's just use like moving parts as an example. An average action scene has like 5 moving parts. Let's just say that as an example. This one had like 30 at least, and maybe if we're going to go by that measure, like 35 complicated moving parts. I'm okay with complicated action scenes. When Garrett and I were writing movies before, I'm okay with that. This one was like a whole nother beast, and that's why I was like, I'm never doing this again, Garrett. Now, that's a light version. I was really pissed off, actually. I was really, really mad.
He was angry.
I was so mad. Oh, wow. But I'm going to round this up. Regardless of Garrett's reasoning why he wanted to do it that way, even though I had a horrible time writing it, I had a terrible time, I look back in it, and I love it. I don't love it because I'm not doing it again. I love it because it turned out great, and it turned out exactly what we wanted, and it got, from me and Garrett, it got exactly what we wanted from that action scene. Yes. So I'm totally glad. I look at it with no ill will, no angst. I love it.
Yeah, we achieved the result we were going for. Mm-hmm. Feeling, most important of all.
Yes.
And
the craft, the outworldly craft.
And the craft was perfect, the way we wanted it to be. And
let's see, what else can we
there
talk
are
about?
There are plenty of situations where creators can look back on their work and think, I wish I had done that.
Yeah.
Or you kind of look at it with a sting, and, because the journey has to be about enjoying the process and loving what we put out there, there can't be ever that sense of,
And it's also certainly different for Garrett and I, because also...
Even with the struggles.
Sorry. No, you say first. You say first. You say first.
Yeah.
Okay.
Notice I'm always doing this with Brandon, because I talk a lot.
Yeah, but the thing is also, Garrett's just nice, because the thing is, I actually think I'm fine with you talking, Garrett. I'm fine. I don't care. I don't care, Garrett.
Yeah. But what I'm just getting at is, with frustrations, and as much as we may loathe certain aspects of the craft, what we're making makes us feel good.
Yeah.
Even if it's a pain in the ass. It's like taking care of a child.
Yes.
Ask any parent in the world. They love their kids. But sometimes you want the kid to just go to fuck to sleep.
And never wake up. Until, never wake up.
Just wake up. Our dad said this joke.
This is a great joke. Our dad said this.
Our dad said, can't they just go to sleep until they're 10? What parent can't relate to that? But that doesn't mean
they don't love the
There's
kid.
no love there. It doesn't mean you look back on raising the child with like, or you look at the child when the kid's 18 and you go, well, of course you're a bad parent and you hate your kids.
Well, fuck you then.
Yeah, if you exist. Well, you do exist. Fuck those people. Fuck you, bad parents.
Mm-hmm. But for the parents who love their kids, hell yeah, you know that. You know what that means.
You know that feeling.
You know what that means.
You know it. So that's the situation when you're creating. There are a lot of things that will tick you off, but so long as you don't ever cross a boundary of like, I can't look at myself or look at that again without feeling some kind of misery, then you did right.
Yeah. At least...
And we always do with our writing.
I would say at least that's the B&G way.
Yes. That is the B&G way, I will say.
Because I'm well aware, Garen and I are both well aware, there are other creators who believe in the opposite. That you got to sacrifice body and soul and all your friends and your personal life and everything for the sake of the art. That's a load of shit. I'm telling you right now, that's a load of shit.
I used to be that way. I used to be like that.
Well, no, actually,
sort of.
No, I'd say Garrett. No, I'd say Garrett. I'd say Garrett. You gravitated towards it, but you were never consumed by it. I saw how you wrote, Garrett. You were never truly that type. You were just at that time. You were just like, that's a type that if I had to choose a type, that's why I'd be. But you never went there because you wrote with me and I brought another thing to the table.
Yeah, you know what it was. What it was is I knew that wasn't my way to write, but I would have never have criticized that mentality. Now I think now I believe it absolutely is just terrible. It's just a horrible way to think. Choosing to give yourself to something outside of yourself more than valuing yourself is just stupid. And it's just not right. Be it art or anything.
So yeah. Another thing else in the B&G way, because Garrett's bringing up the whole thing where we want to actually enjoy the experience, no matter how fucking hard it is. Because also another thing unusual for creators, we want to watch our show when it's done and enjoy it. We don't want to be like, I should have tweaked that directing. That line could have been better. That sound was weird. That's annoying.
Or the situation where it's like, I can't watch what I do.
That's weird. That's weird.
I can't watch what I do. It's just not.
Yeah, it's an insecurity thing.
Yeah,
as it were. No, we're not that.
We're in the position of I want to make something that I want to watch.
Yes, over and over again for the rest of our life.
Yeah, Soro was imagining, we're part audience as well as creator, and Garrett as audience, Garrett viewer would love to see this. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, I'll never have that full experience, but you get the picture.
Yep. So, gosh, yeah. I don't think else 2022 want to talk about. Oh, man.
Well, let's see. 2022, I was still doing my venture. That took up a considerable amount of time.
Yes.
But
somehow you managed to balance it better.
Because by 2022, I had it figured out how to time manage.
Yes.
I had figured it out. As well as everything going as well in the previous years. See, anytime you do something right beforehand, it carries on to the next, and the next year it keeps on following. Mm-hmm. So everything was getting into place very nicely, and my venture was going well. I was actually enjoying it, I think, at its peak in 2022.
Oh my god, I think you're right. Now I'm ready to bring that because I that whole Garrett's whole venture is kind of like a big blank in my head because I didn't really care about it that much. Okay, no, I want to be honest. I didn't like it. But so it was just kind of a blank in my head. But I like hearing you talk about because now I'm remembering it.
Yeah. It was really moving forward. I had made a lot of contacts, and it was a lot of fun.
And it's like somehow you managed to dedicate a lot of time to that, but you cut out time for that, and yet you didn't feel like you were sacrificing anything, as it were.
I did. I cut out, I put more commitment into writing our show than I had into the venture. I should have been hint. I need to get out of that. But like I said, that the venture,
that's a personal thing.
Yeah, it goes all the way through 2023 and a little bit 2024.
Wow, it came that far.
It did. I told you I had an archive. I have.
No, I know. But I told you, I just said right here in the video, I forget.
So more in 2022. Wrote a shit ton of episodes.
Oh.
We can jump into a few more episodes, some more fun things that had happened.
Oh,
One
let's
episode that
Yeah,
that we had planned from the beginning of the show, we finally got around to writing.
Oh, yeah.
That one was a big one. We had a cool title for it. It was kind of like a talking title one.
Yeah, kind of like a sentence, like a sentence someone would say, something like
Yeah,
that.
like a sentence. For example, let's say a fancy title for an episode would be.
Okay, a fancy title for an episode would be like, "Hello, how are you today?" Like that as an example.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good one.
It's like a quote. It's not actually like a cool title like Star Wars, like something like that, or the Terminator,
or The Battle.
Yes, that the title we had was
or very in-universe, which would be there's an in-universe character called Garbabar.
Yeah.
And it says Garbabar's return.
Yes.
It's not an in-universe. It's like a quote that anyone could say.
Yes. So that one we had in mind for a long time, and by a long time, oh my gosh, like did we have in mind for like what, since 2020?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and we're talking about this specific episode.
Definitely right in the first episode.
Yeah. We're talking about this specific episode. So we had this in mind for a long time, and like how we just talked about that action scene we wrote in 2022. This one I really loved. Well, actually, we loved it, but I really loved how it turned out.
It meant more to Brandon than it meant to me. It meant a lot to me writing this episode, but for Brandon,
it meant a lot. It did.
It was a big deal for him writing that episode.
And it did not disappoint. It was exactly everything I wanted and more. That's what I love. When we get everything we want and a few left hooks along the way that make it even better.
Oh, I absolutely agree with that. That's awesome.
So yeah, that was really great. That was a really great episode.
So 2022, we were writing machines. And like I said, and Venture's going well.
I'm just trying to think something fun. It's just for me.
Here's what I'm forgetting.
What?
I remember finishing like a slew of episodes. Did we stop writing like midway through the year?
No, you might be right. I swear, we wrote these. We were machines. Okay, we were so much machines that it did not take us a year to write all these episodes. At the most, late June, early July. That was it.
I think it was in July.
That was it.
And then Brandon and I took a long break, actually, before we started writing again in 2023.
Yeah, because what we had planned next, after all these episodes we wrote, we had some big plans next. So, which were called...
It required a break.
Yes, it needed a break.
But, yeah, see, that's my memory. I remember stopping halfway.
No, Gary. Your memory is actually, I would say, 100% accurate. It was that quick. That's why I said from
writing
the third
machines.
time we were writing machines. That if you watched our 2021 video, how Gary and I had such a joy writing those 2 episodes, even though it took us a long time to write those 2 episodes in that year. This year, I loved our writing even more, even though there was some really, really hard shit we had to go through and hard shit we had to write. For me, whenever I think of that year, for me, I'm just like, oh, that was the year we aced it, we bullseyed it, we got it.
I do remember some pains though.
Yeah,
I remember because we had started this venture already 3 years. We had been already writing for 3 years, right? 2020, 21, and then now.
Yeah, that'd be the third year.
The third year had already begun.
And we did some planning during 2019.
And this had been before, I was like fully 100% in. I mean, I was in it, but I remember having a lot of doubts. Even though we were writing machines in 2022, just stressing myself out, almost to the point of I'm just telling myself I have to do this because I'm committed, not because I want to do it. Of course, I always wanted to, but there's always that conflict. What's the difference between like can you tell when you want to do something or you're feeling like you're obligated?
That's always tough. Yeah.
So I remember thinking we're never going to get through this hurdle. I remember thinking that all the way back, and then by the time I reached that point where when we took a break, I was grateful for the break. And I thought we were never going to reach the little break point we were going to get to. And so when we had finally reached it, I remember beforehand, actually, before we even reached it, there was still a lot of tension going on as far as writing the show.
Yeah, there was.
That we needed. I needed. Oh, you want to go on?
No, I got something in mind in regards to yours, but yeah.
Yeah, that I needed like an extra boost of inspiration. So some ways for that is feedback. And in terms of feedback, we just wanted an audience. So we ended up performing the episodes for our mother.
She sits across from us, and we just read the script, and we act out the characters, and we read the descriptions. That's how we did it.
Yeah, as we have stated before, she lives above us. She lives with us now. So it's like, no one else we trust more with our work than her outside of each other. So I needed that boost to get through this hurdle of machine writing. And it worked, actually. Now you're going to have something in mind.
No. Also, one thing. One thing that was.
I know it's icky.
It happens sometimes. Also, another thing I know that was really stressing you out. At least, no, of course, you could correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sorry, I
Was
could
it
be
the
wrong.
Venture?
No. You're actually, you're right, Garrett, that in 2022, the Venture was like the least stressful.
Okay, then,
no.
what was it?
Another thing, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, was it my screen went dark? Was it my system to write the whole show and not do advertising? Was that still...
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I thought that was still really stressing you.
I think so. I think I wanted to abandon it by this time because we had written so many episodes.
And you know,
even before the machine writing.
And, at this time, Gary, he was going through a lot of own personal issues. Also, then with this issue, this really belief in yourself that this system of dedicating that, no, we're going to write the show and then we will find a way. We will make a way so that way our show can get advertised without needing to do the traditional format. Yeah, Garrett was very stressed about that. And am I right? 2022, I think you're still stressed about that.
I think you're right. I think I was.
I think it came
and
it really came out when you were...
I was really trying to think of various ways to promote it without having to promote it full-fledged.
Yes, the traditional way.
I always try to think of ideas. Ideas always come to my head. This channel. This channel was my idea.
Yes, it was, and actually I enjoy it.
But this channel came, I'm going to tell you right now, it came from the absolute best place. Because...
Watch, if you see the introduction video, you know how we started this channel.
Yeah. Coming from that place is the best way to start something, even promoting yourself.
Absolutely.
Yes,
absolutely.
there is the angle that there's always a certain amount of business and technicals tied to how you want to promote yourself, how you want to get your brand out there, your name and stuff. I hate that term brand. I don't ever want to call my works my brand. I want to just call it my work.
I think content creators is kind of silly to me.
Yeah, those words, those phrases. By definition, they're not poison, but they're used by poisonous people. So it just stinks to high heaven just uttering it. Even thinking them is a pain in the ass. So what I'm getting at here is the start of this channel came from a place of enjoyment and love. And that's the best kind when it starts up. From anyone who's ever had a successful channel, I think it's ever always started from some place where they started the channel because they genuinely enjoyed creating the content they put out. Not just as a means to be recognized. Or even if you think you have like a little in here and there and towards it. I guarantee you, anybody who started a channel who cared about just putting content out there more than being received for that content is far more fulfilled than the opposite, than any other means. And so putting this out there for us like this, just because it inspired a few people, and because we love talking about
our experiences of creating, particularly creating.
Yeah, because we love that, and because evidently people liked it. Win.
It clicked with Garrett.
God, my nose is so itchy. You know, our grandmother used to say, if your nose itches, I don't know where she got this from, but our mom told us, it's like your nose itches, it means some fool's going to kiss you. And this must be a pretty big fool because my nose is itchy as hell.
Yeah, except Garrett, when last I checked, Mom also said that our grandma and grandpa literally came up with some of the funniest stuff.
No, yeah, they made up a bunch of fun shit.
Yeah, they made a lot of fun shit up. That's one of them, probably. I like it, but, it's just funny. I like it. I love my grandma. I love my grandpa. We love them.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh, let me see here. Well, we talked about the stresses of 2022.
We got over the hurdle. We finished by, like, halfway, July at the latest.
July at the latest. Okay. No, not even, maybe August? No, I think
it was in August.
Okay, yeah,
it was in August.
So there, July at the latest. So we had a lot of time, and we rested.
Hold on, I think I can see right now, actually.
Okay, hold on a second. I
can actually see
when
that's.
Hold on a second. Garrett's bringing up something.
We're bringing it up. Hold on a second.
Okay, where is our...
We're going to find out right now. July! It was July!
No, there we go. Maybe in August. See, look, that's when, August. I think maybe in August we... No, Garrett's right. July. It was July. Close it now.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, no, Garrett's right. It was July.
Late July, may have been early. I think late July.
No. I'm wrong. I think you're right. It was late July.
So it was one of the shorter episodes.
Yes, it was.
So we were able to write that one faster.
Yes. I'm trying to think also what was fun. So anyway, did you have something?
No, you go first.
So
mine's not as important.
Okay. So we finished late July. Okay. That's probably when we finished. We had a lot of time because, as we just said, we really started writing again in 2023. So what do we do in that 2022 again?
That's what I'm going to get on.
Well, we took a break. Quite a long break. I mean, long for us. We took like maybe a couple weeks break because we just wanted to. We were tired. After that great writing, we're like, I'm tired now.
I remember we took like a whole month or two.
Well, there. See, we like took a month or two break because after being the writing machines, we were like, B. We were tired. It was great. We just chilled, hung out, watched movies, played games, and ate food. It was awesome. And then, I forget when, sometime in 2022, Gary and I were just doing on and off immense planning. A lot of planning.
Were we really?
Okay, were we? So how long was our break then?
See, I'm remembering then I was dedicating like full time.
Yes, for your venture, wasn't it that?
To my venture. Yeah.
And how long did that last? All until
all the way until the next year.
No, wait. But I'm almost certain that we planned in 2022, like in December or sometime then, we actually really started to sit down and plan like more stuff in our show. I thought we did that.
In November. See, that last half is a blank. And I think it's because we were so burnt out from writing too much. See, because we would burn ourselves out. And that's something that Brad and I hate doing, which is we write so much on a certain day, we have no energy in reserve for the next day. Now,
actually, it's not even like a funny on and off thing. I write today, can't write tomorrow. I write next day, I can't write the next day. No, when Gary and I do burnout, it's actually bad. When we write and really write one day, we can't like write for the next 2 to 3 days.
And the thing is, we know when we're going to reach that burnout.
Yeah, we can feel it.
It's a very consistent feeling.
And it's a very distinct feeling that Gary and I know.
We start saying very specific things.
We're very tense.
We're shorter with each other.
The ideas aren't linking up easily.
The ideas make sense, but we're annoyed that I'm annoyed that they make sense because they're not making sense in my head, though I know it makes sense.
For me, when I experience that, it's just like everything just makes me irritable, and even though I know it works, it's just like I don't care.
And
so after writing our huge amount of episodes,
we were definitely burnt out.
Yeah, I think you're right. So that's why we just took a long month's break.
Months. I didn't even talk about writing because I think...
No, never mind. Now you're saying correctly. Yes, we didn't talk about writing like at all for months and months.
Yeah, I think at that time too, I was still wavering on whether or not I actually wanted to.
Yes, choose
the venture more than our writing. Believe it or not.
That's right. You were.
There were things coming up in that venture.
That's right.
Well, I can fully say now that I never loved it as much as writing at the time.
Yeah, Gary was really into it. He really was.
I was, and I was so stressed with writing. Mm-hmm. Stressed out to high heaven and low hell. Mm-hmm. So it just was a rough time after writing, during writing. We got through it with all of our accomplishments. The stress and the pains were still there, still very present, because I still had some things to work on that had nothing to do with writing. Well,
actually, also, in all fairness, Garrett, you did have a lot of stuff going on. But see, the thing is, I had stuff going on as well throughout those years, but I honestly can't remember. I had some bad stuff, too. I just can't remember what they were, but it was very stressful. It was not good. It was not good to me, and it was not good to Garrett.
You did.
I had bad stuff, too. I did. Don't think that Garrett was the only one. I had shit, too. Like, really annoying, personal, bad shit. I'm saying it right now. I'm not making any excuses for it.
And one thing that's kind of cool, though, I know for a fact it works this way for us. When you have shit that you haven't dealt with, and then you jump into art, truly jump into it with your body and soul, it brings it out.
It does for Gary and I. And we mean it every time.
Every time we write. When I was holding back on something or a stressful day happened, and I write, as soon as we're done writing, we're out of the writing, we're in the writing space. It's not coming, it doesn't come out at all. Out of the writing space, ooh, I just burst, and then I realized it's because I was holding back on this thing, I still had to work on this thing. I think on some levels, that's where the pain and suffering comes from when people write their art. Yeah. It's because they haven't dealt with personal issues.
And then, to make it worse, they keep ignoring it.
Yeah. And then I think they've mistakenly intertwined both as like art cannot exist without the pain. Actually, that's like truly genius art. But I believe that's wrong, because the truth is people just don't take the time to deal with their pains to then do their arts after the fact.
Yeah.
Because as we have said in many of these videos, our art, we are far more relaxed, far less stressed, far less suffering, and the result is even better. Yes. And stronger writing, more consistent. We are missing less. We are more creative, and it is more on point with what we want, with less pain.
And honestly, another element, this is like the least important of all the stuff Garrett just listed, but Garrett and I think, are also faster at writing our stories.
Yeah, and thinking of them as well. If the opposite had happened, I'd say yes, pain is necessary to produce
I actually would agree.
A work of quality. It's not. And I think it's because people would rather work themselves to death than
deal with their own shit.
than better themselves and live a full life.
Yeah, and not
as
for us. Not for us.
And as a result of not taking care of themselves on the inside, the art's going to always bring it out of them. And they associate that pain that started before the art with the art, because only with the art does it come out.
So, yeah.
So, I think that's where the mix-up honestly happens. So, actually, I'm positive. That's why the mix-up happens.
No. Makes perfect sense to me. I totally believe everything Garrett just said about mixing art with pain and justifying it.
Yeah. Fortunately, we were always of the mindset of, that idea has to go.
Yeah.
Even if it's impossible, we're going to make sure it doesn't make any sense with us. And we're going to kick it in its ass.
And which is a really great compliment to this guy right here, because he was before, as we just said earlier in this video, more agreeing towards the idea of pain equals really good writing.
So I certainly was an advocate of it, because I did see tangible results. Plenty of terrific works out there were produced through pain.
A lot of shit.
So many of the best works.
Yeah.
But Brandon was...
But for me, I was on the opposite.
Brandon's the opposite of saying, like, I can make something as good as that, and I want it without the pain. And it was just made that determination that changed it and forced me to go for it.
I can honestly say for me, Garrett, I was of the mindset of a very movie mindset. I was like, if everything I've ever loved in entertainment was always made with a high level of pain, I would say to myself and to Garrett, then I'll be the first one to destroy that formula, because that is wrong. It is wrong that basically you gotta cut your finger off to make anything good. That's stupid. It's just stupid. I don't care if anyone who watching this or anyone else may agree with it. It's stupid to harm yourself over 2 hours of entertainment. It's dumb. It is pointless. It is insecure, and it's lame and unnecessary and lame. I want to say it twice. So yeah, my love for myself, for happiness, and my determination, and also because this guy wanted to work with me as much as I want to work with him, he decided to give my version a shot, actually.
I didn't believe it was true.
Yeah, no, Garrett did not, but he went with it.
Honestly, there's all the part in the back of my head just thinking, eventually, Brandon, you're going to be proven wrong. Just wait and see. And then
I knew that, too. You never said that to me.
No, I never said that to you. I was not going to say that.
But I did
That's a dick thing to say.
But I did know you were thinking it. I did know it. I just didn't care, because I was like, what? Garrett's not saying it to me, and Garrett's just not giving up his beliefs. Why the fuck should I care? We're working together.
But Brandon was right.
Yeah. Good for me. Good for us.
It's not necessary. I found out it's not. And this wraps up right here because of as much suffering as we went through this string of episodes from 2020 to 2022. The episodes we had written next, less stress.
Yes.
Of a superior quality.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the evidence. There's the evidence.
That's all the evidence Garrett ever needed. And since then, Garrett has been the one where he's so calm with saying, oh, let's take 2-day breaks. Oh, you know what? We could write these 2 segments in one day. I want to just write this one. Garrett's been the one who's been on the really clear path on the super efficient speed and also keeping us nice and calm so we can do the shit we want to do this. Not just as high as demanding as writing is, because writing is very difficult.
So even as productive as 2022 was,
it was.
Stress-wise, it was through the roof, and I would not consider it a perfect year.
No.
Despite the result.
Even though I have great memories of it, Garrett's absolutely right reminding me of it. It was kind of like a shit fest. It had a lot of crap. It was terrible. It was terrible.
So, going through the end, and this new venture taking strong precedence in my life, that's going to enter a whole new chapter come 2023.
Yes, but that's for that video.
But by the end of 2022, we fortunately were far enough removed from our writing that we were able to level out a little bit and get ready. I think it did start in November.
Probably. You're right.
Because I remember getting stressed again in November.
You're right.
Because I got used to not writing I keep...
Hold on. Camera's shaking a bit. Garrett, just get the camera.
Because I got used to not writing for so long and just being able to focus on my venture, and we would just play video games and hang out and all that shit. And
not write.
Yeah, and not write. And I got used to that, and I'm like, okay, that's right, we got to get back into this.
Yeah, then now you're acting that out. Now you remember that.
Yeah, I'm like, got to get back into this venture. Okay, fine, that's right. Yeah, I am committed to it. I'm committed to it. Blah, 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 blah. And I remember all the irritation of like, man, I went into it. So, the closing of 2022, not as exciting as the closing of 2021. Even though the writing gets better, and we get better, there's still plenty more pain and suffering to come. Enter 2023.
Mm-hmm. Even though Garrett just said, which is true, the writing got better. There was still shit.
there was a high level of stress because returning to writing. This is still in 2022. I had an image in my head of how I want to write and how the episodes had to be.
Yes.
Had to be made by the time we came back. Anything short of that quality, and my insecurities were going through the roof at this time, I would have found of myself as an absolute failure. A complete failure. And I thought actually I may not have been able to achieve that level of writing capabilities of creativity. And I let Brandon know that too.
Yeah,
I let him know, unless we can achieve this with what we've done, with what we've written here, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, Gary exactly said that. He actually said that.
Unless we have written
so
many terrific episodes.
From 2020, 2021 to 2022.
And now that we're on this break, we have time to reflect and look back at what we've accomplished. What we come back to has to be better. It has to be incredibly more.
Which, by the way, Garrett's mindset, I did agree with, but
he wasn't afraid.
No, but not of the scared level or the
I was afraid
or the angst level or angry level Garrett was, because I did agree at this certain point we had to hit a new level. But I was never afraid. I knew we could do it. Garrett was scared. And now the word was. I want you to remember that the word was in 2023 was scared.
In 2022, that's what I'm talking about this right
I'm sorry, not 2023. Goddamn, missing our 2022.
I was already scared in 2022.
Yes.
We weren't going to start writing until January of 2023.
No. We decided that sometime in late 2022.
I think it happened after we took that long break. Somewhere in the middle, they were like,
somewhere there.
I'm like, I don't want to write Brandon until the next year.
And I was like, okay.
So that tension was there. My venture was mellowing out, but taking a little more precedence than it really needed to.
Oh, I know something else to bring up when you're ready.
Yeah, what's happening?
See, I forgot how long we planned. I mean, like, I don't know how far planning went. Like, if we just stopped in 2022 or if it bled over to 2023. But at least for 2022, there were some ideas Garrett wanted for our show, and I wanted for our show, and we didn't like the others' ideas. I'm not going to say what they are.
I'm forgetting those ideas, but
I'll remind you. I'll remind you those. I'll remind you one of my ideas after we're done this recording. But I can just sort of account it. There's an idea that I really loved. Something that I really loved in fiction, and Garrett loves in fiction too. But yeah. But it was one of those things. Like Garrett just brought up with the action scenes. Arnold action scenes. We loved watching them.
No.
But Garrett was like, I never want to write an Arnold action scene, right? Something I loved. And Garrett loved in fiction. We both loved it. But one of those things.
But we would handle it differently.
And the way I wanted it handled, I wanted it handled more similar to the way Garrett never wanted to write it. But I wanted it that way. And this thing I wanted was one of the things I did not want to really alter. And I definitely didn't want to get rid of. It was like it had to stay. And that one, oh boy. Garrett let me have it. And not just across one day, several days. Garrett let me have it.
I let you have it until we started writing it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That happened sometime in 2022 when we were planning it.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Oh, it's coming back to me now.
Yeah.
That I was planning in my head and trying to explain to you all the ideas that you had that I would never write the way you want to write them.
Yes.
How I needed to fix them for me.
Yes. Yeah, that's what Garrett was saying to me. That's exactly what he said to me.
Now, here's the thing. They didn't need fixing at all. That's the truth.
No.
They did not need fixing. But I felt that way. I hated it so much. I love it now, but I hated it because I don't write that way. Because again, I'm very self-conscious about what I'm writing, and I had played this invisible motherfucker in my head saying you're an idiot for writing it this way. I told Brandon, he's not an idiot if he wrote it that way because everyone would see it's brilliant. When I see him write the things write it his way, he's brilliant. If I write his stuff, but I'm writing his stuff, I look like an idiot. But that doesn't make any sense.
No, I will say
it doesn't make sense.
No, but that's
what played in my head.
That's what played in Garrett's head. Because I think I might have said back then, Garrett, you're wrong. You're not an idiot. You can write what I do. You can also you'll make it better because that's always how we work. We have our ideas and we both make it better. But Garrett was not having it. Garrett was so uncomfortable. But some things we did tweak a lot because I wasn't that attached to it. This thing. No, I wasn't going to waver. And a few others, I wasn't going to waver. And also it happened, though, on the other side. There are things in the show, as we thought about it, Garrett demanded, not demanded, fuck that. Garrett loved and wanted and was not going to settle for less for a couple of his ideas.
Yeah.
And same thing like Garrett, I didn't like it. But not for Garrett's reasons. I didn't like it because for my own reasons, there are just some things in fiction that just don't interest me, that I just don't want to write. And if I wrote it on the level I played it in my head, and I know Garrett wants it done, it's going to be big. It's going to be complicated. It's going to have layers. I'm just like, oh man, I don't even want to write the simple version of yours, Garrett. And now that's a nice version. I was very angry with that one. I was keeping a lot of it in. That's another thing I learned throughout the years, 2021 or then. I learned to speak up more to Garrett when I say, Garrett, that shit pisses me off, or like, Garrett, I don't want to do that. I had a big problem with that. That was a lot of the problems, by the way, for 2021 to 2022. I wasn't speaking up to Garrett when I said I like your stuff, or I just don't like your stuff.
And it made it a lot better when you did.
Exceedingly better. Exceedingly better.
And I had been I had advocated for Brandon to speak up.
Years. Way before 2020.
For years. And Brandon had said often himself that that's on him for not speaking up.
It's on me.
Brandon. When Brandon gets upset at me, or anyone, it comes to such a clarity that it's not like he's mad at you. He's just mad because he's participating in this. And he's letting you know how he feels about it. And you can work with that. When someone's getting mad at you and making accusatory things, you understand they're not really being honest or being objective.
That's the biggest thing. They're not being honest.
They just want to be mean because they're in a bad mood. Brandon is just upset because something doesn't click with him. He's very practical with his anger. I'm the mean kind. I'm the kind.
No, Garrett is the kind where literally when he's in a bad mood. I'll make it
personal.
Yeah, when he's in a bad mood, he'll make the nearest person feel bad.
I'll make it personal, and I'll come at you from all angles to make it look like I'm being objective, but really I'm just being a dick. I'm being mean, not a dick. A dick is low grade. I'm being mean.
I'd say also that's where you're being like nasty to them.
Yeah, I'm being very brutal.
Yeah, that's definitely Garrett before.
Not anymore, but
no, yeah,
it certainly was still alive and well into 2022 and 2023.
Oh, yeah, no, definitely 2023, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and it
was only 2024.
By 2024,
it really started to die off fairly quickly because Garrett, when he really
finally had enough of it.
When Garrett really accepts something that for him, that thing just goes quickly. Garrett doesn't wait.
But it was alive and well in a bad way in 2022 with our ideas and planning it. So going into 2023. We're leaving 2022 off from a very stressed place because 2023 was not an exciting time to write.
Unfortunately, yes.
I do remember that. It was not exciting going into 2023.
No. Unfortunately, Garrett reminded me of that, yeah.
Despite our success.
Even though we planned a lot of content and characters.
For months, yeah.
A lot of content and characters by starting with, like, in November or something like that. Yeah, Garrett's right. Going into 2023 and then writing...
was very unpleasant.
It was very unpleasant, but we're going to talk about that in the next video.
Yep.
Let me see here. I think I'm good. Personally, I think I'm good. I covered a lot of stuff.
That's a good way of covering it. So 2022, successful, but unpleasant going to the next year. So in that sense, not really successful.
Yeah.
We produced, but we didn't succeed.
Yeah. That's unfortunately it's true, but you can't say it any other way.
Yeah. Truly succeeding would be looking forward to the next day, looking forward to what comes next.
And that kind of looking forward to that, not that you're, time to go to work with a big ass smile. No. The kind where it's like, okay, time to work. Okay, time to work. Where you have that focus, that acceptance, and that truth in you that you're just going to do this.
I don't know. For me, it's like, all right, let's get to work.
Well, then that's you. Funny enough, for me, it's been off. For me, it's like, okay, time to get to work. But most of the days now, I'm just like, okay, time to get to work. But it's that kind of clarity where I'm like, I'm committed to it, and I like that I'm committed to it. But I don't have to smile all the time to say I like what I'm doing.
I'm going to take a shower. My nose is getting progressively redder throughout this video. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. Garrett just took a shower. But that does happen to you sometimes. When you shower, your nose does get really itchy.
It does. So.
Yep, we said that about 2022.
That's 2022, I'd say.
With a bunch of stuff, yeah.
That's a good way to close out 2022.
I think it's good.
An unfortunate closing to a productive year.
But it happened. It happened.
What are you going to do? We learned from it. And we did learn from it in 2023.
Yes,
that brought on a whole new play of
troubles. That brought on more stuff.
A whole new play of troubles. And the venture continues, and the story continues, the pain continues, sadly, and the writing, most of all, continues. See you in 2023.
See you in 2023.